welcome back to our channel.
Hey!
Who wants to say the topic that we're going to talk about today?
Today's a part 2 of our video, and today we're going to talk about living in Finland as a Black person.
Yeah.
While we eat.
Who wants to go first?
Okay, should I put this here?
Where?
Sure.
Okay.
I want to give you a little ASMR when I eat. But,
oh yeah, we gotta pray first.
Oh yeah, let's say our grace.
Yes.
God is great, God. Thank you for our food. Bless the food in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so guys, this topic, as you guys can see from the topic of this video, is our experience. Our experience?
Yeah.
Or our
In
lives
general,
as Black people living in Finland. So,
who wants to start?
I'd like to get bites. Hey, because I'm hungry. Or should we just turn it to a mukbang?
First of all, this year's Black History Month in Finland was bad.
They don't really celebrate Black History Month. They don't really celebrate Black History Month in Finland, so I think here in Finland they do have like anti-racism week, which is a little concerning, but such months are not celebrated here per se.
What I mean, like in schools, at least the schools we went to, hey, they didn't care at all. Some schools in study did.
Yeah, but it's not like a huge thing. Oh wow, it's not a huge thing here in Finland because they're really still working on integration. Integration here in Finland is pretty bad.
That's true.
Right now, especially, like I've lived here for over 20 years, and I still don't feel integrated. For example, into Finnish society and Finnish culture, and living here, honestly, as a Black person, is sometimes tough.
Yeah, really low key, it really is. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys some. Let's just ask each other some questions. Okay, what's the most discrimination kind of thing you guys have faced? Like the worst one, in your opinion, that you faced? Hold on, let me give you this.
Oh.
But don't touch this part because it makes it all
I feel like getting jobs and I mean, I don't know if this is a stereotype, but it's just because people if something goes missing, they accuse the Black kid, Saara. That happened to me and Saara one time. We went to school. No, we went to Helsinki for a whole week, and then one of my classmates had her birthday that week, and then we were accused of stealing her candies, which is insane. And
they weren't even in the city.
Yeah, we weren't even in the city, and I was like, "Yo, be still for real." But at the end of the day, my mom was like, "Oh, I don't want problems, so I'm gonna just get this girl her candies and let's move on." And also in friend groups, a lot. You can see I mean, I don't know how to say, but when I was in my teenage era, I wasn't really into guys like that. So whenever a guy would come up to us and be like, "Oh my god," and all the white girls are pretty, and then they would be like, "But you,"
or just they wouldn't say specifically. I feel but you, but I feel they would be like, "I don't really like Black girls," and then they look at you
yeah, because
I'm like,
"Hey, you have a microphone."
I feel also growing up in Finland, you have to always question if you had a crush on a white boy, for example, you have to actually question oh, but does he actually like me because I'm Black? They don't really get to know you for your personality. It's more about your Blackness is already it's obviously a huge part of who we are, but they just they already have the stereotype you're already with being loud and being arrogant and being angry and whatnot.
It's not that spicy.
But yeah, okay, that's actually true.
My worst experience, I think,
this is just
I had really bad experiences growing up. I literally almost got like, okay, I think when my teacher was really racist, like visibly racist, when I was in kindergarten, she like almost, she almost choked me to death.
Oh yeah.
That was actually insane. Like, she like did that to Blessing just because Blessing didn't want to sleep.
And then obviously like later on she did apologize, and that was just because like there's a lot of other kids who didn't sleep either, but for some reason I was the one who was bothering them most, that I wasn't sleeping. And to turn into physical abuse.
Since we're talking about when we were kids, like these people did not let me off. When I tell y'all, my mom came and get me, and she's seeing me like eat grass outside.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Like they did not care at all. And mom was so concerned and stuff like that. Thank God we changed to a better. The kindergarten we went to afterward was like so much fun. Like there was more kids like us there, at least my grade, and not grade, but like there was a lot of like kids like me. So I was like, I like this. And then I went to we all three went to
Let's say schools.
oh
I come up Piatrin.
the Hellhound. That's let's call
Wow.
it that. But I tell y'all, Tamalo was not it. I was being beaten. Not really beaten, but like the best. No, wow. Let me take back what I was supposed to say. Well, obviously God said no revenge, but this I really had to do it. Like I remember my bullies had a whole plan. They're gonna take my school bag and like throw water inside it and stuff like that. And I heard everything. I was in the bathroom. I was like, we'll see. Excuse me. I was like, we'll see. So I hide in the bathroom, and they know I was in the bathroom. And then I open the door and I pour water at them. And I was like, they're gonna try me. And then they went to tell the teacher, and the teacher didn't believe them because the teacher, she was that type of teacher that wanted to prove so bad that she's not racist. So she was like, I'm gonna side this black kid. Even though inside I knew she was kind of racist. Because that same teacher told me that I have lip filler.
She said, "Girl, give me that lip filler." Combo that you.
She was like, "How are you 10 and you have lip filler?" I was like,
"Auntie."
Oh, I remember when I was in 4th grade, and this teacher, obviously just out of curiosity, but she's like, "Oh, how do you get your hair done?" And I think I had a weave-in.
Weave-in, like sew it?
Yeah, sew-in. And then I really wanted to let, how did you get your hair done? Because I want to get a sew-in too. I said, girl, big purr. But I was just like, that was such an unexpected question to ask.
wasn't she the French teacher?
Yeah, the S2 teacher.
Oh yeah, that one. She was I.
Okay, I'm gonna look. You say one. That's the mic. That's the mic. Yeah, the one that scammed me. The one that literally hacked my phone. But anyways, okay, I'm not gonna say this is the worst, but this is like one experience. Guys, this is biasly. Okay, well, I'll say mine. Me and one of my friends were in class, and like this was this was in somewhere, one school that I was in previously, and we had finished lessons, and my teacher was saying like, she said the N-word, and then me and my friend looked at each other and we were like, hold on, and then she looked at us, and then she kind of like smiled. She's like, and I was like, and then when the lesson ended, she called me and my friend to come over, and then she was like, I know you guys heard me use the N-word, but like I was just trying to explain something to the classroom. And then we were just like, like you could have just said N-word and finished. Like I'm pretty sure everyone knew what you would be talking about. But then
the one with the brown hair.
Yeah. And then she was like, yeah. No, finish teacher. And then we were just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then she just like,
oh wow.
And then we were like,
that's these things happen a lot.
A lot.
A lot of teachers think that they can say it just because they're teachers.
It's talking about N-word. Oh, that school used to be they used N-word like it was part of their vocabulary. Like we had an English class, and then we're talking about this like chocolate called naked in Busupka. So that the chocolate's name it's 21. No, well that time it was I think 19 or 18 years ago. They changed the. Sorry, I'll change the device. But what I was saying was 18. That time I was in 8th or 9th grade, and then so that was like whatever. Yeah. So
how many years ago?
When I was in 8th or 9th grade.
Okay. What happened to you?
I'm trying to think. This is Ami's second year. How old are you in Ami's second year?
Huh?
Like Ami's second year. How old are you then? 18. Yeah. So that was that time they changed the name like 18 years ago. So
Bomba class.
Jesus, girl.
I got a very spicy bite.
Pele. Anyways, so the teacher goes like naked pusuka, and she looks at me. Reminder, there's other black people in my class. They're like mixed, right? So then she looks at me, and then I'm like, why would you do that? And then I don't say anything to her, and I go to the principal, and then the principal says it too. And then that school, like they generally do not care. Like you can see, like the principal is like capable of saying it as well, with no hesitation, just straight up the N-word. Like y'all, it's personally at that time I didn't myself really use the N-word much. So I was like, y'all, come on now.
Can you use water?
Come on now.
I'm gonna paint it.
Yeah, are you okay?
Just take a break from that.
Well, y'all, Finland is not a nice place, y'all.
No, it's a nice place, but
I think it's a nice place.
Like obviously
in the sense that like it's really safe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're always ready.
it's just one of the safest.
Yeah, obviously, but it's gotten like.
Yeah, but it's not as dangerous as many other countries, and it's definitely way safer than we could ever like expect. You know, and honestly, we're the raised a family here than any other country.
Yeah, me too.
This was the safety was. But obviously, like as an immigrant person, there's obviously like statistics, but like there's like racism infiltrated in a lot of like sectors of life, and that's one thing that there's like there's equality in Finland, and there's no equity in Finland, and that just like as a person of color, just gives you a very narrow life here in Finland. But I do believe that people can actually succeed with the right people and the right like equipment and stuff. But obviously there needs to work a lot of work the work Finland needs to do in terms of integration and like equity, for example. You know? Yeah, and it's been spoken more than before, but also the racism has been like more outwardly, and the stereotypes are just coming out more than it's also ever been.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Loki it's a really nice place, so.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Just I feel like it's just for like immigrants, it's very hard. As you shout out there, but yeah, I'm just continue this.
You have to get work and stuff, and like an education system
Oh,
is
hell
really
no.
hard. And just to get the equal tools that white people get is obviously very hard, you know. And also, yeah, honestly, that's basically it. Because if you do well in education, that doesn't really like give you that you will have a good workplace here in Finland as a person of color, and that's like one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people do go abroad to study and live, because the other countries have a better integration and do. You know, they do like highlight diversity and want diversity in spaces where people could actually go to and succeed in. But obviously Finland is really behind in a lot of these things, you know, because they did have immigration is a very like not so old as other countries, but definitely like that's not an excuse when there's some countries that have done it that you can take an example of. So and that's made it really hard for us, for example, to live here and to get work and just education in general, just like fulfill in our career and what we want to do.
Yeah. Because if like we like start off like going to school and Mutangi like school has like a lot of racism, a lot of like immigrations feel like or people of color feel like because like a lot of teachers like decide to like discourage a lot of people of color kids.
I feel like there's no like because I feel like personally there should be more like how to deal with situations involving racism more in schools, so teachers can know how to deal with those situations, and principals and those higher ups or whatever to know how to deal with those situations. And also like I feel like Finland needs to really put like a footstool, like give that opportunity to people of color to be seen in public sectors, to be seen in politics and government work, and like business sectors more, because that genuinely like gives hope and dream for the younger generation who are growing up more. Because I feel like there are so many more immigrants in Finland than it has ever been, and obviously like the next generation are gonna be white people here in Finland, but also not only are they gonna be the next generation, but also the immigrants here or people of color here. You know, they're gonna either way have to live here, and if they move out, I'm so sorry, but the economy is gonna get worse and worse and worse. So, you know, giving us opportunities. Because also, I feel like a lot of youth also like have such a narrow view on their future that they just think that, oh, I'll just become a musician, I'll just start a clothing line. When it's like so many things you could actually do, then just do that. Or like, I'll just be a nurse. Like, there's so many things you can do, and it's just like, as a parent too, like as a society,
as a parent,
pregnant.
As a parent,
she thought to get about herself.
Oh yes.
It's really important to expose your kids to many opportunities and to the world, so they can actually like see what career paths they want to take, to be more inspired, because they see people like them out there.
That's actually really true.
Especially in Europe. But yeah, because I feel like our mom especially exposed, or not dad in a sense, exposed us to a lot of like people.
What am I hearing?
You're just
No,
slow.
I actually heard, and our mom also helped us expose our dad.
Anyways, like our mom really helped our mom really helped us expose us to a lot of like, you know, successful people of color, so we feel like we can also succeed in our careers and what we want to do. Because my mom also herself, she's like really successful in what she does, and we've seen a lot of her friends who are really successful in their work, and it's just, you know, gives us a bigger scope.
Yeah, motivation.
You know? Yeah, and I have friends who are people of color, and they've traveled their whole entire life, for example, gone to church camps and just like traveled around the world. So they do see that, you know, they do see that scope a bit more bigger. And also obviously families that don't get those opportunities to actually like explore and see people.
That's
or
true.
Have those friends, parents don't have those friends who are succeeding in life. But it's really important too to like motivate your child, and you know, when they're in school, they tell them that you do have options and being a lawyer in this. There's economics, there's like business, there's so many things you could do in life and just sell drugs on the street and like be musician. There's so many things you could do, you know?
That's true.
And I feel like also like it's really important for like, what's really important for us too is just like be that image that we didn't have for other people in Finland. And when you have that image, use that platform and use that influence to influence those who are looking at you and people of color. Because I feel like in Finland, like there are just a few, or this is just like such a new thing for, you know, people of color that are in music industries and so on to finally speak about something. And just like, what took you so long when you knew exactly how it felt growing up in Finland, and now you become an influencer, and it took you so long for you to speak about things. And I feel like it's also really important when you do have that influence to give that stage to those youth that wanna, you know, grow up and be successful in life, and really use that platform for the benefit of the society and the benefit of the next generation.
That's true. Should clap that.
Also, one thing when it comes to like racism in like Finland is that how they treat like people of color in, for example, in the hospital, laitos, all those kind of stuff.
It is very disgusting. That's why I think
Very disgusting.
it's really important for people of color who, you know, go through their experiences. Obviously, it's really hard to speak about it, but it's really important to speak about it. And not only that, but those who are working in those fields and given those opportunities as people of color to really help out those who don't understand. Because also there's a lot of like laws in Finland to protect yourself. I feel like a lot of immigrants do not know those laws and do not know their rights enough to protect themselves. So when situations like that do come to happen, you know, because I've seen so many like immigrant youth being stripped away from their family just because their kids do something and they're apparently have to go to laitos. Also, they do something that's absolutely disgusting, so I do agree with that. But also, like, they're children, and I feel like it's really important for them to actually get the help that they need, but not to be completely stripped away from their families. Obviously, their families like abusive and stuff, that's completely understandable. But they're not. Like, it's really important to actually sit down and see how they could progress in the child's life and how the child could actually become a better human being. And then take them to laitos and for them to continue what they were doing already.
Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I forgot. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.
And leave any questions down below. And guys,
Put that there.
and guys, if you are a person of color and you want to share your story, please do not hesitate to contact us and speak about it, because we're always here to help out our fellow people.
Yeah.
If you're white as well, obviously, we want to help you in whatever situation you guys are in, and so much love to everyone.
Open to all cultures, all kinds. People.
Put your hands up.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us. Follow us in all our
Social media. Can we grab the camera?
social media.
You literally was there.
Thanks for watching.